Estamos de volta esta noite com Jorge Carvalho, português, que é chefe de gabinete do Senador Sheldon Whitehouse. George, a lot of current events going on right now. Of course, what's fresh in our minds are the mass shootings from this past weekend. Once again, we relive this situation over and over.
Unfortunately, yes.
And we know that Senator Whitehouse has a very strong stance on this. What's wrong, in your opinion, in working alongside the senator?
Yeah.
Why is this happening so often in our country?
Well, I mean, obviously the mental health issue is and I think we're going to see that as it plays out in these last two shootings, that there were mental health issues with these individuals. But we need to strengthen our gun laws. It's just common sense. There's really no debate to it. There shouldn't be a debate to it. The problem is the NRA and the gun lobby is so strong and powerful and has the funding to put pressure on, the Congress people to put them in a position where, if they're going to vote for these or to put these things in place, that they're going to go after them. I mean, they'll threaten them. They'll tell them, you vote this way, and we're going to find somebody in a primary. We're going to find somebody, to come after you. So, so I think that's a big problem, because there are a lot of people who may be gun owners. Who are gun owners, who believe this should be reformed. My father-in-law is one of them. He's a lifetime member of the NRA. He's from Michigan, has hunted his entire life, owns a fair amount of guns, a lot of them collectibles that he's collected over the years. But he'll be the first one to tell you we should not have automatic weapons. The only people that should have automatic weapons are the police and the military.
It seems like common sense.
Yeah, you don't need, I mean, the way he says it is, if somebody breaks into my house and I want to shoot him, I can shoot him just as well with a handgun or a shotgun as I can with a machine gun. So it's really, it's just ridiculous. And it's changed the way, for me personally, it's changed the way I live, in the sense of, if I go shopping with my wife and my daughter, I don't leave them anymore. I know before, my daughter's going to be 13 next week, so she's pretty responsible, and she's independent. She likes to do things on her own. So, a few years ago, maybe when she was around 11 or so, if we went to the market and she wanted to go look at the clothes, I'd let her go, But now I don't do that, because the worst thing to be, would be to be in a public place and not know where my wife and my daughter are if something like that were to happen,
Absolutely.
So something has to be done. And it can't just be increasing the background checks, which everybody knows. That makes sense. Of course you want to make and enhance background checks. Everybody agrees with that. Yeah. But it can't be, when the Congress goes back in, and the House has already voted on gun reform, but Mitch McConnell, the leader of the Senate, will not take it up. So if they go back and their response is to say, okay, we're going to do gun reform, and it's just going to be background check enhancements, that does nothing.
Well, that would have done nothing for these past two cases, because I think they didn't have any criminal records at that point.
So, yeah.
It wouldn't have avoided these last two cases.
Absolutely not.
A lot of rhetoric coming from Pennsylvania Avenue. There are people that are quick to say that if this rhetoric wasn't going on, maybe these shootings wouldn't happen. But the fact of the matter is, for the past maybe 10 years, we've seen quite a large number of shootings. So, but definitely the I'm trying to word this in the best way possible. If that rhetoric wasn't coming, or I don't think the rhetoric is helping the situation.
No, I agree.
Let's put it that way.
I agree with that.
The rhetoric is not helping the situation. How much do you think the way things are being said from the White House affects how the country is today, as far as there's a lot of division, a lot of people against each other, and they don't do it in a diplomatic way. It's my way or no way. Do you think the fault lies in the White House and the way that things are being portrayed publicly?
Yeah, as you said, it doesn't help. I mean, it doesn't. As I was driving up here today, just now from Providence, I was listening to one of the talk shows, and the host, it was Dan York, had Joe Biden speaking today, and about trying to unify the country, and he was critical of President Trump, and he mentioned him by name, but the response from Trump, was a tweet which is, just over the top. So, and it's clearly designed in my mind, and I think in a lot of other people's mind, to energize his base. So I think I think it's very strategic. I think it's strategic, and I think his position is going to be, I'm going to rely on my base. I'm not going to try to, I don't need to, he's definitely not trying to expand his base, I don't think, by being a uniter. But that's part of what the president is supposed to do. When there's a crisis, when there's, people are in tough situations, they look at the presidency as some type of an inspiration, or at least they used to, and, unfortunately, I don't think it's that to that level now as it was.
There's a lot of talk about fake news, media. The fact of the matter is, when I first got into this business, I was taught by a lot of the older generation. So we learn how to, communicate the news as it is, and not try to embellish it to sway opinions. Nowadays, it seems to be the exact opposite.
I agree.
On both sides.
I agree.
To what extent do you think media is at fault for the way we're living nowadays and our opinions?
Yeah, it's tough for me to say to that, to really address that, I think, with any concrete proof of it. But I agree with you. I mean, I watch the news, CNN, MSNBC, Fox, I'll go back and forth. And both sides, it's disappointing to me that both sides are skewed to a certain extent. And the interviews are not on both sides. It's not an interview like you're doing with me right now, where we're talking back. It's almost like I'm going to catch them. I want to catch them. I need to get this person to say what I want this person to say, so that we can show it for the next 3 hours, saying this, and put the little caption underneath that says, Carvalho says, blah, 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 blah. So, and I've even heard, where they've actually asked the question and the person has just said yes. And within 10 seconds, it's up there saying, person says X, Y, and Z, and all the guy said was yes. So it's not, I don't see the news, and I'm not criticizing, because I believe in a free press. I believe that, I don't believe that they should be attacked. I don't believe in this fake news. The thing is, it's fake when it's bad. If it's good, that it's, if it's good, it's real. It's not fake. So we need to, the press has always been a cornerstone, in our country, and that's why, freedom of the press, it's one of our First Amendments. So we can't have attacks on the press, but I do see where they could do a better job of trying to be more balanced and fair and presenting both sides. And I see it more like in the interviews, when they are interviewing, depending on, which station it is, that they will try to get their point across. And I grew up with Walter Cronkite, and David Brinkley, and I'm sure, were they perfect? No, but they gave you the news, and that was it. It was you took from it what you wanted to take from it.
Absolutely. I think that people are looking to be told what to think nowadays, more than using common sense and forming their own opinions. I'm not saying this in a general sense, but this happens a lot more often.
And social media is different now. There are a lot of people now who don't watch the news per se. They don't sit down in front of their TV and watch the news, especially the younger kids. I can't tell you. I don't know when the last time my daughter watched TV. I mean, not that she does. She's on her phone, but she just she gets what she needs from the phone, and I know and some of the younger kids in our office that work for us, you know, they'll watch. You know, I go by the office, and if there's something going on, you know, if the president is talking, whatever, they've got it on their phone as opposed to turning the TV on. So social media plays a big role in this now.
So just one more on the current events. The Democratic Party obviously wants to find the right candidate to be able to defeat Donald Trump in the next election, but there's already been a couple of debates with the Democratic candidates for the primaries. We're looking at 20 individuals. There doesn't seem to be much unity for a party that's looking to get elected. Do they realize that everything they're saying is going to be used against whatever candidate is eventually elected? I mean, what's your stance on this?
Well, yeah, I think that you're right, and it's unfortunate that it's gotten to this level, and it really, and I'm not, there are others who have said this, that the individuals who are not polling at high numbers really need to take a look in the mirror and say, look, am I doing more harm staying in this race than I am, you know, getting out and backing whoever? You know, you don't have to back anybody now. Get out of the race and let it proceed forward, and then try to get the unity. I mean, we didn't have that. We didn't have that unity in the last election. You know, the Bernie people were not happy with the Clinton people. The Clinton people were not happy with the Bernie people. There was some division, and as a result, you know, we weren't able to win the election. So I think if 2018 taught us anything, is the sooner that we get together behind a candidate, the better, you know, to realistically win this race. Because I'm not convinced that, you know, some of these polls that show Trump's numbers as low, I'm not convinced that that's 100% accurate.
Going back to your office now, Senator Whitehouse is part of the Portuguese American Caucus, correct?
Yes.
In the Senate.
Yeah.
Exactly, what does that mean?
Well, I mean, he's always had a very good relationship with the Portuguese community in Rhode Island, and even on the national level with you know, with the government itself, and when dealing with like the ambassador, and so their purpose is to whenever there's an issue that affects Portuguese Americans or Portugal, that they're there. You know, they're one of the groups that, or a member of that group that you can come to and talk to, and I mean, you can obviously go meet with any of the senators, but the Portuguese community was very supportive of Sheldon when he ran in 06 and have followed. In fact, the Portuguese American Citizens Committee, of which I am a member, we were one of the, maybe the first, but if not, we were one of the first organizations to actually endorse him in 06, and then actually worked, you know, to help him get elected. So he's never forgotten that. He's always been cognizant and willing to help out, and as you would with anybody else. In fact, he went to Portugal. He went to the Azores. I want to say, but it's 2 years ago, on a pleasure trip with his wife. But he wants to go back officially, so we're going to probably be planning that.
Excellent.
Sometime, you know, in the fall or thereafter.
Excellent. So. Any political aspirations for you, George? Would you ever consider running for public office?
I don't know. Probably not. I mean, I turned 55, and I enjoy what I'm doing now. And not to say that I wouldn't. Maybe if I retired and I had free time on my hand, but I enjoy what I'm doing now.
Excellent. Well, if you ever do, you know you have our support.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You're a musician, and I did not know.
Well,
this came up in a brief conversation a little while ago. So when did that come about?
I don't tell a lot of people that, but you said that you normally have a guest that plays that you speak to, and then a musician. I said, oh, I could have done both. I've never played professionally. I have one brother who's younger than me. He's about 18 months younger than me. And my mother insisted, we learn a musical instrument because we both played sports. I played baseball, basketball, football. He was a track guy, and it was a different time. There was no, summertime, and even during school, there was no watching TV. There was no, playing on the internet. You went outside. You got up in the morning. You went outside. You stayed outside until lunchtime, and then after lunch, you went outside and you stayed out until dinner time, and then you went back out again. So she insisted, I want you to take an instrument, and she made us stick with it. So I learned the guitar, and my brother learned the piano, and I was pretty good. And then when I went to law school, I stopped. I didn't have the time. I didn't bring my guitar with me, and then I picked it up. After I graduated, started playing again. And my brother has been more serious about it than I have, because he was trained on the piano and he's terrific. But he subsequently learned the bass and the guitar on his own, and he's a much better musician than I am. He's played in different bands. He recorded an album last summer. Oh, wow. Which he self-produced and has put out. And more, I think that was more just a labor of love. He's not, he's an engineer by trade. He's not looking to start a new career, but he put that out, and it's actually pretty good. But we play, when we get the family together, he'll bring his guitar over, and we'll play it. So it's fun. It's fun.
Your parents now having a Portuguese-American mother, a Portuguese father, are they still among us?
No, unfortunately they're not. No.
But they did see your your professional path, right?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
And looking back, what did you feel from them? Obviously, they were proud of you, right?
Oh yeah,
But Portuguese parents tend to be a little colder at times. But did you feel an authentic happiness for the fact that?
Oh yeah. No, I did. I did very much so, and I know that they were both very proud of me. And I don't know if it's unique, probably a little more unique to a Portuguese family than to others, maybe not. But you're still always their little boy. So even if you try to give them legal advice, if their friend Ruth said, "Oh no, it's this way," then that's who they believed, And I used to always, a kid with my mom, and say, "Well, what?" And I made that name up, but I'd say, "Well, what law school did Ruth go to? Or what bar has Ruth passed?" But so you always had those challenges, in dealing with them. But she was proud. She used to she had my cards, and because she was kind of a social person, and later in life she'd go to the senior center or whatever, and she was always passing out my cards, and she did get me a fair amount of clients.
Oh, that's great.
Everybody she would talk to, "Oh, my son's a lawyer, give him a call." So
wonderful.
But,
favorite Portuguese dish, George?
Ooh. That's tough to say. Let me see.
All of the above. Right?
I went to Madeira last week, and I had a bitok, which is good. I love the bacalhau à brás.
Yep.
Galanjana. So it's tough. It's tough to as you can tell.
Me as well.
I could eat Portuguese food every day. And my mother was born here. She lived in Portugal. She was born here, and then during the Depression, my grandfather bought a padaria and a farm out there. So he sent the girls. He had three daughters. He sent the daughters and his wife out there, and he stayed here. So they actually did okay during. They didn't get rich, but they did okay because they essentially had two incomes coming in when a lot of families didn't. So she spent a number of years in Portugal, and then came back. So she knew how to cook Portuguese dishes, but it wasn't like we had a Portuguese dish every night. It was she was a good cook. She did a lot of different things. But at the holidays, it was always the povo. I love povo too. That's probably one of my that's on my list of the favorites. So, and then your family's from
the Azores.
The Azores. San Miguel.
San Miguel and Terceira.
Terceira. So the polvo is different, right, in both places, because in the Azores it's with the batatas.
Yep.
It's
usually baked. They really use it, make it baked in the oven. At least that's the most.
Portuguese, the continent is with arroz. She used to make it with rice. She actually used to ship it out to me when I was living in Michigan, because there were a couple of times where it was one year I couldn't come home for Christmas. I don't remember why. And she packaged it all up, put it in, I don't know how they actually got it out there, but I don't remember, but I had a thing of, and I didn't go to school with any Portuguese guys out at Michigan State, so they're like, what the heck is this thing? So. But,
and it held up well?
Oh yeah, no, it was fine. That's back then, I was a lot thinner, right? When you don't have any money, right, you can't afford to go out to eat. So I could make a dish stretch for just when it was on the edge of going bad is when I, polish it off. So I learned how to, extend the life
That's a
of
Portuguese
food.
thing too.
Yeah,
You'll stretch it till the end. So
yeah.
You had both things going
I
for you
like
at that
leftovers. I'll eat leftovers anytime.
Now, George, what throughout the years in your career, in all aspects of it, what has been the most gratifying for you?
Oh, geez. The most gratifying. I like to help people. I really do. I really enjoy it. I enjoy helping people. I think everybody in the office that works with me enjoys helping people. So I've gotten the most satisfaction out of that, and even practicing law. I mean, obviously the money was nice, and you need the money to survive. But I always felt good when a client hugged me or called me and said thank you, blah blah blah. And the same thing here. And what's really nice is and this just happened this week, and this happens a lot with the casework when one of our caseworkers helps somebody. There are a lot of people who will send gifts, chocolates, those edible, the fruit. The fruit. This week it was a flower. It was a bouquet of flowers. You name it, they'll send it. And we have a no gift policy in the office, so we can't accept it. So we have to call these people back and say, like, I'm sorry, and we're allowed to either give it back to them or we can donate it. Like today we donated the flowers to a senior center. So that, people that will go out of their way, and a lot of them don't necessarily really have the money to do it, but they're so appreciative that they, and it's not done in a sinister way, like, oh, I better do this so they help me. It's done, thank you so much. I can't believe that this actually happened. But, and believe me, my staff is not happy when they get Godiva chocolates, and I tell them, no, that's got to go, that's got to go back.
But George,
so.
Very good, George. Thank you very much
thank
for coming
you.
on the
it was
program.
A pleasure.
It was a pleasure.
I'm honored to be
here.
here.
It's my honor receiving you here, and we're here for whatever is needed. So
thank you so much.
If you ever think of running, we're here for you.
Thank you so much.
Senhoras e senhores, esta noite Jorge Carvalho foi o nosso convidado. Ele que é chefe de gabinete do Senador Sheldon Whitehouse e tem uma carreira recheada de muitos sucessos, advogado de profissão e é português. E tivemos a oportunidade de saber a sua história esta noite. Voltaremos na próxima segunda-feira com mais Hora Quente para si. Boa noite e até amanhã, se quiser.